Yeah, again, I'm not talking about Kawhi Leonard this time. I ain't gonna talk on no crazy stuff that people consider crazy right now. I'm just gonna talk on another sports. So I'm back on the basketball, right? And you know, Kevin Garnett was 100% correct when he went in like that. I watched basketball since 1985 and 86 and 87. I've been watching basketball since 1986, 87. I've been a fan of the Lakers since '87 because that's the team that caught my attention. I wasn't a Bulls fan at first. I was a Lakers fan. That's what I was. I was a Lakers fan because I liked the way they played, that fast tempo, the up and down fast tempo, and they also played defense. They played hard. They fouled people when they needed to. They did what they supposed to do. They played a greatest team. So I like the Lakers. I was a Lakers fan, Magic Johnson fan, James Worthy fan, big time James Worthy fan. I thought he was the best player, the best small forward to me. That is my favorite is James Worthy. That's just what it is. But what I'm trying to get at is you got these players now that's in that the players back then wouldn't be able to play right now. No, the players back then would be so they would if you okay. We can go from 1987 to 2002 and get all the players from that era, from 87 to 2002, because we're going to stop at LeBron, because that's when everything changed, when he came in the league in 2003. When he came in the league in 2003, everything started to change after that. So what I'm trying to say is you take those players from 87 to 2002, the ones that were worthy of starting, that were superstars and all stars. That means you're gonna have the Vince Carter in there. You're gonna have Dirk. You're gonna have Steve Nash. You're gonna have Reggie Miller. You're gonna have Kobe. You're gonna have Shaq. You're gonna have Elijah Wan, David Robinson. You're gonna have Sean Elliott. You're gonna have Bird. You're gonna have Magic. You're gonna have Kevin Garnett. You're gonna have Karl Malone. You're gonna have Charles Barkley. You're gonna have all the 3 point specialists. You're talking about Kerr, Paxson, Steve, what's his name? Mark Price, um, Dale Ellis, McLeod, um, Trent Tucker. Uh, uh, I mean, it's so many players that I grew up. You gonna watch it? Rolando Blackman, like all these players. I'm saying you don't know they was cold. Okay, now you take these players down and you put them in the era. Wally Zerbiak, yeah, even him. You put them in this era of from 87 to 2002, and you put them in this era right here, they would destroy these guys. But let's do the better. Let's take these guys from this era and put them back in 1987 with the rules of the 1987. Because back then, from 87, I don't know when it changed, but I would say 2000 when it changed. But from 87 on up to about 2000, 2002, you could put your hand on a player. So he couldn't just dribble all day long and be doing all that shit. You could put your hand on his hip. Like you can literally lean on him with your hand and hip. And so, with that said, they wouldn't have been able to handle the pressure. You come down the lane, you're gonna get clocked. You're gonna get knocked on your ass. They didn't care nothing about the three back then. So then you would have to try something else. What I'm saying is that these players are so soft now that they think a hard foul is what it is today and back in 2010. No. The hard foul is back in 87, 88, nigga. When you coming down the lane, you hurt. That's what it is. Or you know how to do some shit to make yourself hit that shot because you just that good. And that's why I know them players were better because they were getting hit and still making the shot. They were getting hands put on their hip and still was getting past the player throwing the assist. They were getting all of this pressure put on them physically that these players now don't have. They got the freedom. They can just run around, bro. Dribble for 500,000 years before they either decide they're going to do a real crazy last minute pass or just fucking shoot it. So what I'm saying is, if you take those players back then and bring them now with these soft ass rules, and you let all the 3 point specialists in the game that was from back then, and then you put the Jordan, he knew how to shoot three anytime he wanted to. His stats didn't have to look good because he didn't care about shooting it. But whenever he decided to shoot it, it hit. So what I'm trying to say is, if now that they shooting threes all the time, what do you think he'd be doing? So at the end of the day, Those players from back then, you know how you lift. If you ever lifted weights in your life, this is what it is. You ever lifted weights and you was at a portion of the time when you say, man, I'm gonna push myself, and you push yourself, and now you're used to lifting, benching, say 210. You know what I'm saying? My max at the time back then was 225 pounds. That was my max bench. I couldn't do no heavier than that, and there was still weights. But I can't do that shit now, though, goddamn it. Back then, though. But anyway, just say you got weights, and then you got those weights, and all of a sudden they get lifted up off of you, and now you take the weights that were 250 or 220, 225, and you turn that into 125. Now you benching with ease. You just going, oh shit, that shit light than a motherfucker. Okay, take another 25 off. Now you just snapping with it. And then now you looking at the guy that had the bench 225 and saying, see, look at me, I'm good. Because nobody really paid attention, because nobody's looking, and was, say the dude that was doing 225 was doing that back in 1980 something. The people of nowadays didn't know that. They just see that guy doing 100 and thinking he doing something. That's what the shit is like. It's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you had all that pressure put on your body with people slamming you to the floor, and then you just getting hands put all over you, they can put their hand on your waist, guide you and all that shit, and you getting fouled all the time, you try to do this, and then you move yourself into this era where ain't nobody got their hand on you, the lane wide open, and you good as you are. It's a weight being lifted. You finna score 50 points. Dude, you take these motherfuckers from now and put them back then. This just like taking, like I said, reverse that. Get a guy that's used to doing 100 pounds benching and give him 225 pounds right now and see if he'll be able to lift that shit. That's what they shit'll be like. They'll have to do the 225 pound. Oh, I can't do it. That's right. Because the dudes back then was built for it tough. Built for it tough. Because they have to deal with getting slammed on the floor. Hey, you a man, you getting $85 million. The fuck you getting paid all this fucking money, dog? Nobody care about just basketball, but shit, damn. We men too. And you getting paid all this money. So what the hell? You gonna get some contact. Sometimes you're gonna need that contact, fool. So, and then all this fucking money. You know what I'm saying? So, at the end of the day, man, that's what it'll be like. It'll be like the weights being lifted off of the players from 87 to the players to put them in this era. It'll be like a lifted weight. They will be running around here scoring shit. Rolando Blackman will probably average 20 points a game, 21 points a game or something. He probably did average that back in the day, but I'm talking about like it'll be all the time. You know what I'm saying? It'll be all the time. And the same thing with Reggie Miller. What you think Reggie Miller would be doing? What you think Reggie Miller would be doing? If Reggie Miller was banging threes like a maniac, what you think he would be doing now? What Reggie Miller scored in a less than 10 seconds? He scored like 6 points, and that nigga scored like 9 points and real quick. And this is back in the day when they wasn't doing that. So imagine now, he probably would have scored 18 in that little bitty time. Because don't nobody play defense, bro. You just running around, bro. You can't tell me that those players that were superstars back then wouldn't destroy these motherfuckers now. You can't tell me that. They getting hand checks and shit put all over their body, slammed on the floor. Ain't none of that happening now. You don't think they would be fucking out here snapping? Getting all kind of points? You take these motherfuckers now that don't touch them and put them back then, they bitching. They crying. They ain't finna come down the lane, get checked, nigga. Come down the lane, get this. Bam! Yeah, well then do something cold then. Or use some skills. You know what I'm saying? Because you fronting like, look, a person can look like they got skills if they ain't getting the pressure put up on them. You get what I'm saying? A person can do, you dribbling all like, let a motherfucker hack them a couple times. Then you're going to stop dribbling as much and you're going to take care of that business with that ball. Damn.